Hi all, Jin here, and one of the most hyped characters has finally arrived. Will pulling for her and sitting through her year-long animations be worth it? Obviously I thought she was worth it, and I'm here with Arciela's How to Play vid, where I go over her kit, EX Plus, and my thoughts and recommendations, while taking her into the chaos fight afterwards. As usual, in the pinned comment are timestamps for easy navigation, as well as a link to my full playlist for all the How to Play vids I've done. If you're wondering how my pools went, I did have my third pool battle with my good friend Rinoa, which you can find the link down below, and I want to thank her again as always. Alright, so whenever there's a majorly hyped character, there's generally going to be an overshadowing of the other one, and that unfortunate soul is Prishe. And a lot of people really don't give Prishe the time of day at all, but she does come with quite the rework, along with an EX Plus, and is not actually bad. No characters are bad at this point, but there are just some that rise to the top more than others, those most people would rather use their ingots on. But if you're interested in Prishe, I can quickly go over my general thoughts. At first glance, she seems to have quite a complex kit. Her skill 1 does decent single target non-elemental HP attack while taking no turn count. Afterwards, you can then use a changed skill 1, which is a stronger partially melee and partially holy magic attack that ignores defense and grants herself critical up. Or you can use a changed skill 2, which is a strong partially melee and partially wind magic HP attack with 50% splash. After using one or the other, both her skills revert back to their normal state. If you use her skill 2 in its normal state, it is a decent non-elemental AoE split HP attack that grants herself max brave up and physical attack up. Using her skill 2 in its normal state will also change the skill 1 and skill 2 abilities again. Skill 2 is the same as stated before, while skill 1 is now 2 HP attacks with a melee HP dump with refund and then a fire and holy magic HP dump. When using either changed ability, both skills are reverted back to normal again. So her EX Plus is very important to her since at 0-3 she can imperil all 3 of her elements and extend all the buffs on herself by 5 turns. But she definitely needs 3-3 to hit twice on her EX as well as get a free ability use after. In the end, she is a strong damage dealer that doesn't bring much else to the party outside of imperiling fire, wind and holy in 1 frame debuff, whilst being simultaneously locked out of some fights due to having 3 elements. But you can try to work around the elements that don't work well for that fight, since her base abilities and her EX are non-elemental, and her elemental skills are not all 3 elements and are partially non-elemental melee also. But this brings the issue of her being a mixed magic and melee unit too. But at least she imperils for her magic hits. I think the coolest thing of her kit is the fact that her EX, which is slow by the way, extends any buff on her for 5 turns. So any OP buff that other units can give her, she could technically have it on herself all the time. So say for example you give her Porum's HP damage reduction buff, then Prishe can never die. Or Selfie's aura buff, her EX charges fast all the time with free ability after as well. And then you can try to use that on her instant free turn base skill 1. So she has some longevity as well as dealing damage with no turn count sometimes as well. So in the end, if you like Prishe and you have the ingots, she's definitely viable for some good damage. Bring her with good supports, abuse her free turn base skill 1, and she'll serve you well. Otherwise, there are better units to invest in still. You can fully check out her kit and details on the always lovely graphic by the Tonberry Troupe at their website, so a big thanks to them as usual. Inkwelder, Dreamy, Vein Novice, and Teleute. Okay, on to the hyped long animation dancer herself, Arciela. So why is she so good? Let's go over her base kit first. She essentially has a different stance for each of her 2 skills. Her skill 1, Ascension and Expunge Magic, is a 5 AoE Brave plus split AoE HP attack with 170% overflow. It heals the party by 100% HP damage dealt with a max of 40% max HP, whilst dispelling all buffs from all enemies. It cancels the Descension buff if she had it, and she grants herself the unique buff Ascension for 10 turns, which is max brave up 50%, with a party aura of 45% attack and 40% eye brave, and a brave regen of 40% eye brave, as well as the unique buff Fast Cast for 3 turns, which restores party brave back to eye brave within 1 turn after dealing HP damage or getting broken. While in Ascension stance, her Brave Plus is a 2 Brave hit that batteries the party by 110% eye brave, and her HP Plus is a 3 Brave HP attack with 120% overflow that batteries the party by 60% HP damage dealt. Both also grant herself the unique buff Fast Cast, same as her skill 1. Her skill 2, Descension and Sight Unseen, is a 5 AoE Brave plus single target HP attack with 160% overflow and 50% splash. Similarly, it will cancel the Ascension buff if you had it, and grants herself the unique buff Descension for 10 turns, which gives herself attack 20%, max brave plus 50%, with a party aura of attack 45%, and also decreasing speed of enemies by 10%. Her skill 2 also applies a unique debuff to all enemies that lowers max brave and speed by 30% for 6 turns, along with an HP attack disable for 2 turns, which prevents enemies from using anything that deals an HP attack. While in Descension stance, her Brave Plus is a 2 Brave hit that applies to all targets her unique debuff of Max Brave and Speed Down, and her HP Plus is a 5 Brave hit HP attack with 120% overflow and 20% splash, and it deals weakness damage to debuffed enemies. Her EX ability, Nakul's Vengeance, I don't know if I'm saying that right, is an 8 AoE Brave plus split AoE HP attack with 150% overflow, while healing the party by 20% max HP, and granting herself the unique buff Heirloom for 6 turns, which gives her attack and max Brave up 50% and party Brave regen up 40% iBrave. Her C65 and C70 will recover one use of both her skills, while increasing party attack by 10% for 5 turns. The Bloom will extend this to 9 turns, although it's not a must-have and doesn't seem that amazing at first glance, but 10% more attack for the whole party for 9 of Arciela's turns, and she's not even that fast. It's pretty good and can be abused by faster characters. Okay, now onto her EX Plus. At 0-3, her EX ability hits harder with 180% overflow. At 1-3, she gets attack up 30% and max Brave up 40%. At 2-3, she gets to start with her EX buff, as well as a first ability free, instant, and no turn count, similar to Lenna. At 3-3, her EX ability hits even harder and gets 225% overflow, while battering the party by 25% HP damage dealt. Now, how much should you invest in her? I've heard a lot of things from many different people, so there seems to be a lot of confusion as to how well Arciela actually functions as a budget support, even at 35 CP. As someone who has brought many 35 CP characters to both Entropy and Chaos events such as Fujin, Lilith, Aphmau, Aiko, Fran, Freya, even recently to her event, as well as Entropy prior. They're all on my channel if you're curious, but I'd have to say no 35 CP unit is actually good anymore. They're useful in certain situations, yes, but good, not really. Arciela is just like all the other 35 CP units that you can bring to Chaos, in the sense that she's someone who has a good enough utility for a specific fight and or team comp, and then the other 2 units can help propel her to victory. So essentially, providing utility and being carried is what 35 CP units do. That being said, if you have her EX and don't want to invest in her fully, keep her at base or 0-3. You'll be using her essentially for her utility, and she will dish out at least more damage and have more longevity than her 35 CP counterpart, whilst also gaining her important EX buff and the ability to heal more than 5 times. Otherwise, just take her to fully 3-3. She's a purple unit, I believe, due to the fact that 2-3 conserves one of her rare skill uses, and 3-3 allows her to consistently deal good damage whilst battering the party by a large amount with her fast EX. If you 3-3 her, you get her C-Sphere, which gives the party Brave regen of 10% iBrave for 3 turns when breaking or attacking a broken target. This is great for her or any support that brings good iBrave boost, since the criteria is quite simple to meet. For her A-Sphere, although contrary to what you may think, you kinda want more attack so that she's hitting harder to battery more, splash more, heal more, etc. Otherwise, boost her iBrave so she can regen more. Or both if you have that sphere. For her E-Sphere, since her Max Brave and Speed Down debuff is unique, you can give her E-Spheres that trigger off crits or hitting broken targets that apply additional debuffs to stack. Her Skill 2 and Skill 2 Brave Plus are the only things that apply debuffs, so don't give her anything that requires inflicting a debuff to proc, since she doesn't do enough of it. For arts, as mentioned just now, you're going to want to boost her attack with 3 108s so that she's hitting harder for more battery splash and heals. Then you can have any secondary you prefer to go alongside her. Personally, I prefer raw stats, so I'd lean more towards 170s and 330s for high regens and increased max brave ceiling. But her C50 of course is a great option as well, since it boosts both by 5%. At the moment, I'd probably prefer a build of 2 108 170s and 1 108 330s, since I'd want to boost my brave regens first. I did happen to get 2 of them already, but I do need 108 330s now. So how to play Arciela. It really depends on the team comp for me. In a nutshell, her skill 1 stance is more defensive, provides more support for the party with stronger brave regen and battery, while her skill 2 stance is more offensive, giving herself more attack with stronger hitting HP plus. So for example, if she's the main support, I would want to use her skill 1 stance more, and I'd also want to start with that so that I can conserve more of her skill 1s. But if she's running with another strong support and battery, then the skill 2 stance might be more effective, so then you can start with her skill 2 and conserve more of her skill 2 abilities. Also, if you're heading into a heavy HP attack fight, then you probably would want to start with your skill 2 to conserve it as well. Or if you're going to head into a fight that you're going to have to dispel a lot, then you can start with your skill 1 to conserve skill 1 abilities. So it really does depend on the situation and or team comps, which skill stance you want to start with. Also, especially trash waves, her skill 2 is going to take out trash waves a lot better than her skill 1. Overall, I do prefer her skill 1 stance more over her skill 2 stance, since I like to play a more support style just in general. I love my supports. But essentially she is an HP plus spamming machine that will use her EX when ready, whilst timing your skill 1 to dispel and or heal and your skill 2 to debuff, including HP silence and or do more damage. You can also use her skills obviously to charge her EX, but it's fast enough where her HP plus can charge it just fine as well. And when going into her lesser preferred stance for that team comp you're running, try to revert back to her most suited stance sooner rather than later. But some team comps won't really matter too much if you have enough auras and battery to support her skill 2 stance. The difference between skill 1 and skill 2 stances in terms of party auras is essentially you get 40% more eye brave to the party in skill 1 stance, so essentially 50% total, and you also get 40% additional brave regen, so essentially 80% of your eye brave rather than 40%. And then skill 2 stance will just give her additional 20% attack up and lower the enemy speed by 10%. So she's essentially trading some brave regen for the entire party for a little bit more attack on herself and some enemy speed down. This leads me to her cons. You can't stay in her skill 1 stance all the time, so bring additional support units or other units with auras to help her out. Her low skill usage is pretty abysmal with only 12 total when accounting for her C65. I guess that's 13 when you account for her free ability use. But she doesn't have any free skill use after that. Outside of not being able to spam abilities, her skills are also quite important in their function, so depending on the fight, you'd have to conserve them and time them correctly also. That leads me to her pros. Boy, do those abilities of hers pack a bunch of utility. Her skill 1 heals the party and dispels all buffs from all enemies. Her skill 2 gives a unique buff on all enemies that can be used to stack with debuffs, as well as an HP silence on all enemies that can prevent all enemies from HP attacking for 10 turns, essentially. 12 if you include her C65 and 14 if you include her free ability. The fact that you need to use her HP plus a lot isn't even a big deal because her HP plus are pretty ridiculous also. Her HP plus from skill 1 hits decent while continuing to grant herself the fast cast unique buff and battering her allies by 60% damage dealt. Her HP plus from skill 2 hits as strong as some abilities with 5 brave hits and splash. Her Brave Plus from skill 2 can also debuff enemies as well to conserve a skill 2. And that EX of hers is fast, it can heal, and provide great battery for the party, similar to Ramza's, so you can avoid breaks and use it without any worry. Alright, so my final thoughts on Arciela. Her ability to heal, dispel, debuff, and HP silence, all AoE, keep in mind, is not a combo seen on any other character. With all her utility and minimal buffs, it allows her to fit into many team comps and playstyles. She is now another eye brave booster and brave regen character that you can slot alongside the myriad of supports that also do that. Many who we've just recently got, like Lenna or Ramza, allowing for some filthy regens. I wouldn't say she's an easy plug and play character due to her low skill uses and 2 different stances, but as long as you know what you're doing, she's a great asset to your roster and one I would recommend both pooling for and purpling. And even if you don't 3-3, she's at least a useful utility character at base or 0-3, which are still valuable. Alright, so let's see her in action. You can see mine already has all her character boards. It just doesn't show mastered since we can't claim those treasures yet. I won't be able to bring my Prishe, obviously, but a boosted Rinoa? Yes, please. And what better person to pair with them than the Eye Brave Queen and Rinoa's best friend in Cosmos, Lenna. I will be having excessive healing probably, but it's okay. Rinoa won't mind that. So, funny thing, I paused my recording because I realized that Arciela didn't have all her summon boards equipped yet, and I forgot to resume my recording, and I did the chaos and everything and got max score, everything. I thought I was done, and then I realized I wasn't recording, so here we go again. And maybe I can do better than I did my blind run. I should, because now I actually know what's happening. I guess we can use slides, Cypher. I used Jack Friend last time. Jack's pretty disgusting for this also. We're taking Brothers for Max Brave, and this will be a nice little run again. So I'm gonna start with S1 to get her regen up before I cast her EX. And I wanna keep more skill 1, so I'm gonna go with skill 1 first. And we'll just go ahead and battery more people. And we'll start with skill 2. Go into skill 1. And now I can cast my EX and get that regen. That damage from Rinoa. So, none of those buffs are very terrible. Just continue with HP plus. Battery, everybody. And we'll go ahead and apply stronger debuff. And let's go ahead and now we can dispel them, I guess. Leave her alone. Look at that, almost 150k on HP plus. Tis nice. Leave her alone. And this should heal her. Two healing EXs for Rinoa. It's beautiful. And that damage is beautiful as well. Now that's quite a bit more buffs now. Let's go ahead and reapply the debuff. Hopefully. Yep, on both of them, it's good. And B's not gonna act for a while, so we're gonna leave him alone. This damage from Rinoa, disgusting. I'm assuming I'm gonna be able to jump in front of B afterwards, so I will just HP plus for now. Well, not if I get broken, obviously. Get some shaving. Yeah, we'll just we'll Angel Wing. We're still good with the regen. Still 4 turns left with the regen. Battery, everybody. Rinoa's getting constant healing. Ooh, that was like 0 anyways. Let's go ahead and dispel everybody. This damage. They shouldn't be able to act again. I don't need to use my EX here. Make sure he dies. Kill them both. Very nice. I do want my regen for Rinoa again, so I'm gonna have to start with skill 1 first, and then EX. Make sure the break order is proper. I don't like Lenna's random hits. So now let's go ahead and get their debuffs on. See if I can prevent getting broken, as well as the EX will be up next. Perfect. And this should get my EX up, and we'll get to see the HP plus of the skill 2. Pretty cool. I like the look of that. And now I can EX and get my regen up and do some massive damage. Battery, everybody. Technically, there's no worry of much when they are HP silenced. Looks like he's gonna try to HP attack. That damage Rinoa, even out of summon, it doesn't really matter, does it? Let's get their debuffs down. Attack signal. Well, thank you for letting me know you're going to attack. Let me just silence you. So obviously this stage is catered for Arciela to silence them for all eternity. And he gets fatigued. See, once she's in skill 2 stance, all the battery seems to have left us, which is why I prefer skill 1 stance. That all attack will be HP silence, so don't worry about that. Let's go back into skill 1 stance, please. And then we'll get back our angel wings. Beautiful angel. Too bad. What is this? This is just I Brave down, yeah. I could silence him again. Or take it. Let's just go ahead and silence him. Pretty much he's just stuck there, flipping his pincers, doing nothing, like a fool. This is gonna hurt them. I want to summon because it's gonna hurt him so badly. Yeah. Ooh. And skill 2 is gonna hurt more in summon, but I'll use skill 1. My EX not up. Well, let's get Cypher in here. Yeah, let's get Cypher in here. Do some serious damage. Oh, it's a nice axe there, Slide. Not a bad launch. This will get some nice Brave. 44k, that's beautiful, Rinoa. So we can get a decent launch here then. Might as well refresh my skills first. They can't do Brave damage and they can't HP attack. That sucks for them. Thinking about using an Angel Wing, get more Brave, and then also charge my EX at the same time, kinda. That's so shameful. Should have used Rinoa as AA first before I did my Angel Wings again. I will do that now. They are still HP silenced. They can be delayed till eternity. A has just been waiting to attack forever. Let's get that EX up with my regen. Hey, you weren't supposed to do HP damage with your no Brave. The EX should damage them pretty badly. Oh no! I'm supposed to die at the same time. I should have HP is silence him. What am I doing? That was stupid of me, and all my buffs are gone, but I don't care. Should heal everyone. Kill him. Yep. My first run was a lot cleaner, but it's okay. Pretty much the same score, less turns, more HP damage, same result. So my main mistake there was I should have paid attention more, used Arciela's skill 2 to HP silence him again, and then he wouldn't have been able to do anything. He wouldn't have been able to dispel my buffs, he wouldn't have been able to put buffs on himself. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. Arciela is pretty broken for this chaos, so it's good to see her in non-synergy events, but that utility is always going to be good, no matter what fight. You see your character boards all done. Rinoa has 2 spheres and good arts. Lenna's good, her own sphere, decent arts. Alright, well, hopefully you learned something. I do wish my original Chaos run was recorded, but it's okay. My next pool and how to play vid will be for Fusion, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.